Hey everybody, it's me, Mama D, and it's another Sunday evening with a conversation with friends. Now this evening, my friend is Maria Afentakis. She is from the UK, and let me see if I can get the bio to read. Okay, let's see. It's not going to come up when I want it to. All right. Maria is a gifted third generational spiritual psychic, clairvoyant, intuitive reader, Einstein channel, incarnate angel, angelic Reiki practitioner, animal Reiki practitioner, crystal healer, public speaker, teacher, and author. From a young age, Maria has been highly sensitive to the energetic fields of people and places, and has been blessed with a spiritual gift to bridge the gap between science and spirituality, to educate others in gaining a scientific background to help them understand spirituality and how to bring them peace and balance in everyday lives. Maria is a scientist in cancer research with degrees in biochemistry, neuroscience from the Institute of Psychiatry, King's College London. She has worked in prestigious scientific institutes throughout her scientific career, including London School of Pharmacy, Imperial College, and the Royal Marsden Hospital in London. She has been an author in many scientific publications, including her first author paper, which is recognized for her scientific research. Ouch. You have, hey guys, you have so much. It's like people try and put science together and prove prove that spirituality is real, but you work both together. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thank you first off, yes, for saying yes, agreeing to be on the show with me, because it's sort of tempting fate. No, I'm kidding. I'm not that bad. Can you, other than what I've just read to everybody, can you tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. So, so the bio was very accurate. I've also do animal healing as well as animal communication. So I work with the animals. That's like one of my main things I've been doing. But yeah, apart from everything else you've said is exactly, what I'm all about. So the book is really about bridging the gap between science and spirituality. And I've got the book here, but you've probably
I made sure I got a picture. Now, if it works as well as it should, because I'm having a few computer issues. Let's try this. This should work.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. So it's basically bridging the gap between the science and it's basically bridging the gap between the science world and the spiritual world, and it's all about energy. So energy is not different how you look at it in scientific or in a spiritual aspect. So it's basically just describing that there is no difference. And when you go deeper into the book, you will discover that for yourselves.
Yeah. And the thing, like I said to you earlier, is like, what I like about the book is that you answered questions that I never knew I had. I mean, I didn't know, I know I don't know everything. But, like sometimes when you go to people for readings in shows and online, they usually say, do you have a question? I never have a question. I usually just allow spirit to have, give me whatever message it is. And it was meant for me to learn whatever it is I had to learn. But with your book, like I said, I didn't have questions. I just, for me, I'm going to go in to read this book and I'm going to learn who you are through your words. And you make things sound simple. I don't have to sit there and take a dictionary and go, what was that word? I don't have to try and figure it. And if you do use a big word, you make sure that we understand what it is, which is really, like I said, anybody can read this. And right now I have to tell everybody I have the PDF file, but I'm getting the actual book because I need to highlight questions, which you can do with a PDF, but it's not as much fun as actually having paper in hand. I'm one of those people who like paper.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so what was your very first deck?
So my very first deck was Angel Daily Guidance from the Angels by Doreen Virtue. So this was given to me by my mum. So
Nice.
my mum, I mean, you probably read from the book, like I've long history of psychic psychic people in my family, my grandma, my mum, my great aunt. So my mum used to do the crystal ball and the tarot readings, but she always knew that I'm not going to be doing that. She knew I was more into the angelic realm and the elemental realm. So she bought me my first deck. And then I just started to give myself readings, and then it just went from there, really.
A lot of people don't realize that when we start, hey, everybody in the chat room, when we start picking up our deck, we don't pick it up so that we can read for other people. We start with reading for ourselves, and a lot of go, well, it's kind of like, you already knew that. Yeah, I did, but the cards didn't. For me, the card, like everyone says, the cards are just a tool in the chest, but sometimes you need tools to help you to see what you need to, where you're going. Now, your lineage of psychic connection is all on the women's side of your family.
Yeah.
So did your father's side of the family have any spirituality, metaphysical abilities that you knew?
Not really, but my dad was very, like, I think he was like more into the saints, because in the Greek religion they have a lot of saints. So he would like be more into the Greek Orthodox side of it. But he was very open to my work, which is very unusual for a Greek father, because they're quite into like strict. But my dad was very, very liberal in that way. And I used to go to church with him, but I used to like to go to the church when there was nobody in there, so I could connect.
I know. Just never mind all the people that bring it in. When we're there in church, and a lot of people go, because I was raised Catholic, and I don't know the last time it was I went to mass or church itself, but I like to go in when there's nobody else there. I love the energies, and I think that's what is the most interesting for people who are spiritualists. And a lot of people go, well, you're not religious, you don't go to church. Well, religion is somebody else's belief, but yeah, I'd love to go to a church, but just sit there and be. I don't want somebody preaching at me. I don't want, people. I mean, yes, you have to have people, but the idea of going into the building that is spiritual, not just religious, but spiritual, it's like a deep connection. So I can understand that part. Now, you said your mom did crystal ball?
Yeah, crystal ball and tarot cards readings. My grandma used to do this in like the Cypriots, because my mum's side is from Cyprus. They do like a coffee cup reading, so it's quite similar to a tea leaf reading. So she would like look at things in the coffee cup and just read, like she'll see like a bird or an aeroplane, and she would give information. So that was her connection from spirit. And my nan didn't really speak much English; it was just Greek, so it's quite interesting to see that. But I used to get really excited. Like I was always really excited with crystal balls and my mum doing her tarot readings, and then her friends used to give me tarot readings, and then I was, it's always been in my life. I know it sounds a bit strange because we still used to go to the Greek church. So
yes and no, because like you said, the Greek church, if they're very orthodox, if they're very strict about it, that's one way. But your family, your upbringing sounds like it wasn't that strict.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. So you were blessed to have that open connection in your family, that there was no, For me, when I was growing up, they didn't see this. They didn't understand this. For us, it was like, okay, you're old enough now. Your good friends, your invisible friends can go. You have to go to school, and it's like, yeah, okay. I went to church. I was an altar girl. I'd ring the bells at the most inappropriate moment. Just not pay attention. I'm a redhead. I can get myself in trouble just by being there. One of the things, I had a question, because a lot of people have their opinions on this. You started with Doreen Virtue cards.
Yeah.
What, if any, or how did her switching her stance on cards and the like affect you?
I was in shock because all of my learning of angels and mermaids and everything, like elementals, everything was all Doreen Virtue. Like, I was her biggest fan. I thought, I had all her books, I got all her books, and then when she came out like that, I was just like, okay, there's something not right here. I don't know. Like, my feeling was that she was given the information from source. And she was the right person for her to bring the message across and to awaken others like us, like ourselves, to get, it's a strange situation. And for her to just completely go into Christianity, into a different world, it's like,
it's not just simple Christianity. She now denounces everything that she did before. And she gets no income from it. I know that the cards that are sold, her percentage of it goes directly to charities. That's her way of giving back, from what she sees as the mistakes of her youth, her misspent youth. Well, it sort of shocked a lot of people, agreed, and I was like, I never followed her that closely. I know that I did pay attention to her. I do have a few of her decks. I've got 34 altogether. I don't know how many are hers, but so I understand. But I also know that, like you said, at the time that was needed, she was getting the information. She was giving the information, creating the decks and everything, on giving us all the information, because she was the right time, right place person to do it. And when she did that switch, I don't think it made a difference to majority of the people. A lot of people were hurt, because I watched when her first video came up about the switch. I noticed that a lot of people were really hurt and took it personally, and it wasn't meant as a personal affront to those of us who enjoyed her teachings at the time. It's just that now she's on a different path. So, okay, how many decks do you have? Or do you know?
Oh, wow. At least 50. I'm just looking.
Okay, I gotta catch up.
I've got a table full, loads. I'm always buying, like, I'm constantly buying them. As soon as a new one comes out, I'm actually waiting for a new deck from Lucy Cavendish, the Mermaids Oracle of the Mermaids.
I'll have to look at those. I'm waiting for a new deck from a good friend, Miss Dorothy Holder. She created her own decks. She's in the chat room right now, so I'm gonna pump up her cards.
I'll have to look her up then as well.
Yes, she has. She's a great tarot. I have her books, and like I said, now I'm waiting for her. It's not her first deck. I think this is maybe her first deck that she created, but she's got like 3 decks out there, and she is one of a kind. She taught me the way I read is you're cool is okay. Because a lot of people go, well, you don't read them correctly. It's like, I do the way I do them. And I learned to not apologize for that. In the beginning, I had somebody tell me, well, you don't do it right. And you can't be a reader in our group until you do it my way. I'm like, oh, okay. Sorry, somebody's snoring. Onyx. The dog was snoring. That was the first. He's like, "You're boring me to death, Mom." Okay, we have a couple of comments in the chat room.
I'm planning to do my own deck for the spiritual scientist to complement the book.
Okay, you need to, and I need a copy. I need a deck.
Yeah, so this would be just so unique because it's going to be with science and spirituality, and it's going to
be interesting. I think from what I've read of the book, I can't but I'm not in your head, but I cannot see to this point what the cards will be. But I know that they're going to be it's going to be an interesting deck. So just put my name on the list.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Tarot Tracy in the chat room says that I have a few decks too. Strange how she totally left spiritualism that we were talking about during Virtue. And Dorothy Holder, the lady we spoke of, more than just switch, because she said, quote and unquote, on the video recording that the reading cards is evil. And okay, blah blue in the chat room on YouTube. Thank you very much for coming. Says hi. All right, Eric Glenn, who's a dear friend in the UK as well. It don't matter what happens after you awaken. The fact that the information you needed was got to you by spirit. Remember, no wrong way to connect to spirit, just different ways to get it right.
Yeah.
Very, very true.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it is. Okay. No, Facebook. Yeah, Facebook's on a delay, and it's my computer's kind of like, but got a couple of Nancy, my friend Nancy's in the chat in the YouTube chat room. Hello, and Blah Blue says he agrees with Eric, or she, I'm not sure, agrees with Eric. Don't say that too loud because Eric Glenn head will explode. Thank you, darlings. Okay. So growing up, you had the openness of your family to accept your spirituality, and they helped you to not learn it. Sorry, Blah Blue, thank you. That you were accepted to do what you wanted to do, to learn what you wanted to learn. So how did you go from that to the scientific side of it? Where did science grab your attention?
So I was always interested in healing, helping people, I guess. And when I was young, I was like, I want to find a cure for cancer. That was I wanted to be a doctor. But then as I got older, I was like, well, actually, I don't just want to diagnose cancer. I want to find a cure. I want to cure cancer. So that's when I thought, right, I need to go into science. So I need to be a scientist and do research in cancer. So a lot of my work is on breast cancer. The many years I did at the Royal Marsden was all in breast cancer. So it was very fulfilling, and also because it's such a high all over the world, it's the highest cancer in females. So it was very interesting to go through that. But the problem is what happened was as I got old, as I got through the career, I was just thinking, you know what, I don't agree with the drugs they give, like the chemotherapy and the radiotherapy. I know, I've just, my spiritual side is like, this is not right. So that's when I was like, okay, I want to do healing. So then, I've always been into the healing side, but I thought I could use my skills because I know the human body so well, and all the chemical reactions and everything else, because my degree was in biochemistry, so it was really, really difficult, but it covered quite a lot of the human body, and I did a lot on cancer, like how cancer's developed. And but yeah, it's strange because I think I've always had this sort of inclination to go into spirituality, but my parents were always quite pushing me to be academic because I was really clever at school. I used to get awards and I was exceptional in science and different subjects. So science was the only subject. I didn't like mathematics, actually. I found maths really hard, but science was my interest.
So how do you? Okay, I also know that you're a Reiki practitioner on humans and animals. I'm assuming that animals are a lot easier to work with than humans.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, I'm a Reiki master as well, and yeah, I have to
Yeah.
agree. Except for when it comes to my cat, I'd rather deal with humans than my cat. But do
Yeah, that's
you?
an angry ginger cat.
Mm, and he's perfect that he's my cat. He's a ginger, but he's an angry one. That's because
Yeah.
he's a boy and all frustrated and stuff. But do you, when you're doing Reiki, whether it's on animals or humans, does your science come into it? Do you, how do you combine the two, the healing
Yeah, it
with your
does
scientific?
actually, because like I usually give people advice on sort of nutrition and especially the animals, like nutrition and hit and like exercise and just stuff they can do to so they always get extra stuff and make I teach them like different things about essential oils, but why they're so important and why crystals are so important. So that's why this book was like bringing everything, all my sort of skills and knowledge together in one place. um, but yeah, I always like, being a scientist, you're always going to have this sort of scientific brain.
Yeah,
But it's strange because, like, I don't know, it's hard to explain it because it's.
it's part of who you are. You meld everything together. Everything just works. You can't separate it because it's you're the one person that it combines itself in. Cats are not evil. Scott Stevenson in the chat room says cats are evil. They're not evil. They're just particular.
Particular, yeah.
Blah Blue in the cat in YouTube. Blah Blue says, "Oh, that's amazing. You work with animals." Yeah. Like I said, animals are a lot easier to, if you just work with the energies on a person. Sometimes people always input stuff that you don't really need to know, because we work with energies. A cat's not going to tell you, well, my hand end hurts, so the dog's going to say, ah.
Yeah, I mean, when I first started doing the healing on the humans, I always used to feel really ill, like after, because I used to take in all their, because I wasn't good at protecting my energy. And I used to
Mm-hmm.
take in all their energy, just used to come in my chakras. So then, like, I was just like completely exhausted after one session. But when
Yeah.
the difference with animals, you never feel that that at all, because actually they heal you and you heal them, and they communicate with you. And I
Yeah.
find dogs actually so receptive, like they just really love the healing. They're just really, I could heal like a crazy chihuahua, and the chihuahua will just go through.
There you go, Scott. Crazy Chihuahua. A quick one. Blue in the chat room says, "Does Maria still work with her scientific career, and what do her coworkers feel about her spiritual section,
Wow,
spiritual side?"
that's a very interesting question. So I was until COVID, basically.
Mm,
So not the labs are closed. So basically, in the UK, they're not doing any cancer diagnosis.
mhm.
Everything's all about COVID over here. So, but the last place I worked in, my manager there, she's got a copy of the book. Like, she's very into my work. She's really
Okay.
proud of me. But the professors before, like the people before that, were just like, what like I could never mention anything about my spiritual side at all, because I was very, very academic when I was at the Royal Marsden. So I was
Okay.
producing papers and so for me to speak about my spiritual work would be a disaster. So they wouldn't be so. It's very interesting because, like, I don't know if you've seen, is it the Ghostbusters with the women, the new one? Don't know if you've
Okay.
seen.
I
And
haven't seen it yet, but it's on
okay,
my
so
list.
she's a professor, a physics professor, and she goes through the same thing. She writes a book about ghosts, and then like a professor finds out, and basically like she gets the sack. So it's very similar to my sort of, because like now I'm not in that job anymore.
Mhm.
I want to go more into the spiritual science work, because I feel like over 10 years in what I was doing is enough, like for that now. So I feel like the work I did in the science was very, very important for what I'm doing now and for my book, and for me to make myself known as as my own person, as a spiritual scientist. Because when you work for a professor, like, it's a very cutthroat business, like, I'm being honest with you, and there's a lot of competition. People used to steal my work, and then, like, they wouldn't give it to my professor. And, like, when I got, because he used to send me to America and all over the world to go on conferences, and there was a lot of competition and jealousy, and I just really hated that. And
Wow.
I don't know, I just felt like this is not the world for me. And also with people, like, I did a whole clinical trial on chemotherapy, and I just don't agree with chemotherapy treating.
It's a hard drug on the body, on the human body, and as a healer, that's not something. It's like the cure is worse than the actual disease.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got a couple of questions in the chat room. I'm not going to put them up because it seems to be my computer is way too slow. Taro Tracy says she's just down the road from Oxford University. Are you connected there at all?
Oxford? No, I haven't got any sort of. I've been there before, but I haven't, like, got any connections there.
Blah Blue. When you heal a person or animal, can you see them in their environments? If not, how do you see them during that practice? So, can you do you do your healing distance, or do you not now, because in-house we can't do now?
So now I do distance, but usually it would be so the animals, I would go to the guardian's house. So they'll be in their environment, because I find they won't be able to come to my place. They have to be in their own space. And with me, because I'm a channel, the animals start talking to me straight away. I'm like Dr. Dolittle.
Oh, cool.
So they talk to me, and they tell me where they need healing. So, like, we have a communication, and then I know, like, if it's in the the lower chakras or the upper chakras. With the humans, I do, like, Angelic Reiki. So basically, all the energy goes straight, the healing goes straight to the heart, and then it goes through to the other chakras, and it balances out the chakras. So when I was, like, doing, like before, when I didn't know how to protect my energy, it was hard, because I was getting all their energy. So
Yeah.
I don't do as many human healings. I do more animal healings at the moment. So.
Well, I think there's so many healers out there that I mean, sure, we don't have to do specifics on one or the other. And if somebody comes to you and says, I need personal healing, not now, mind you, and says, I need physical healing, a human, you're not going to say no unless it's something that you think that you can't. You don't turn the person away just because they're a human, even though I would like to do that to some people.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
God, I missed that one. Ken Romy in the chat room says, I am a healer, a vessel. I think that's something that people may or may not understand. When, as healers, we're not the ones doing the healing. It's the energies that we're just like a telephone. That's the way I put it. I'm a telephone. The person on one end, the universe and all the energies out, want to connect with the person or animal on your table or in your mind. So we just sort of channel it. So that's how, for me, that's how I work. Is that about how? See, my computer's gone slow again. There you go. Is that about how you work, the same way you work?
Yeah, exactly the same way. Exactly. Like, that's once I have the intention of healing, I feel my palms getting warm. But it's obviously the energy, like the healing energy from the angels, because I work with the angels and all my spirit guides. So this is how it feels for me.
Talking spirit guides. Now we got a couple other questions in the chat room, so I'll get those before I go to the spirit guides. Blah Blue says, "What are the illnesses, disorders you've healed in animals? I have a blind bird. Is that something that can be healed?"
That she's blind. Oh, okay. I'm not sure. Well, it depends, because basically with the animals, we always make sure that they have a vet diagnosis, because we're not vets. So it depends on what type of blindness she's got. If she's got like full blindness, but healing will help her with her other senses, if she's completely blind. But I mean, the main thing I heal is, like, I've healed animals with cancer. So I'll give you an example. My manager's cat, the doctor said he's got a cancer in his liver, and he's only got a few weeks to live, basically. And then I started healing the cat, and the cat's still alive.
Yeah, so, I remember that was in the book.
I mean, I'm very, very powerful, because from the book, if you've read it, about that I'm an incarnated angel. So for me, the healing just comes on automatically, and I work on that level of the angels, like unconditional love. So it's that vibration. So when you send unconditional love and love, this is the highest possible wavelength. So I talk a lot about wavelengths and frequencies in the book, and this is basically the highest level of you can give to anyone, so you can heal. And I've healed animals with arthritis. So I had another cat. He's got arthritis in his paws, and with one session, he was jumping around, like the owner was just like, she's just yeah. So I think I work better with the animals are more easier for me.
Because there's not as much stuff going on in their minds and in their bodies, and they're just
I find with humans, you need to do a lot more than one session. I think you need to do quite a few sessions, because I have quite a few issues. You're not going to do it with one healing session, basically.
Okay. Blah Blue in the chat room says, "My bird was diagnosed with cataract from an avian vet. The cause is unknown. Both eyes have cataracts." What kind of bird? I'm kind of curious. It's just maybe.
That's very interesting. I mean, I haven't done any birds, because I've done mainly cats and dogs. But I'll be quite interested to see if any healing would help him. So I could try and do a healing for him.
A cockatiel. Oh.
But I love what I was working with a macaw, but is it macaw parrot? I don't know what it is.
I think everybody has their own pronunciation. Macaw.
Macaw. Yeah. He was massive. It's beautiful. Like, he was a rescue, and he just wouldn't stop talking to me. He was like, I'm trying to heal you, but he was like very excited to be. The animals get excited, so they start to communicate a lot with me.
Yeah. So when you connect with the animals, okay, aside from them telling you what their ailments are, I'll get back to your question about our karmic illnesses. Do they tell you things about their humans?
Yeah.
That just kind of like make you laugh.
Yeah, well, they tell me sometimes good stuff, but sometimes sad things, like the humans are not looking after them, and it's quite hard because you can't really tell them. You can't say that to the human, so it's like it's a bit very sensitive. So you just have to like send healing to the animal. But yeah, they do say funny things, like, some of the humans characters they think is funny, or they do. Animals are very talkative, and like they're very it's quite funny, because when they start talking to me, I know if they're an old soul, or like, and they tell me they love their guardian, or they say, like, they always, like, one cat was saying to me she's really cold, and so I said to the guardian, you need to get her some cat beds around, because she's very cold. And as soon as she got the cat beds around, and the cat was just so happy. Like she said, she's just changed. So, and I also give nutrition advice. So I'm keen to get the animals to have normal food rather than food you buy from a store, or like dog cat food. And that helps a lot, actually. That helps a lot because they tell me what they like. So they're like, oh, I like fish, or I like chicken, or like, because not all cats like
My
fish.
dog likes pickles. Pickles and olives. I have a dog, and I know he likes pickles, but I just discovered he likes black olives.
Oh, wow. That's,
Yeah.
that's so funny.
Onyx is a special breed. He's mine. Blah Blue in the chat rooms. Thank you for coming, by the way. Do you connect with animals that have passed on?
Okay, so I've done a bit of training. I'm actually in the UK. I'm on a bereavement register, which means that I can give assistance through the healing when they're going to pass over for the animal. So I have got training in that, and I can connect to them with a photo. I can connect to them exactly the same way as if they were alive.
Okay. Blah Blue again in the chat room. Do animals reincarnate? And do they reincarnate with their soul, or does their soul get mixed with other energies during the process? Got some good questions.
Wow, that's an interesting question. I mean, I don't know much about reincarnation, because I would like to know more. But I do feel like, so my cat died about 6 years ago, and then when I got another cat, he was identical to my cat. So I don't know. I'm suspicious that it is my other cat. I mean, I don't know. I think this is a personal experience thing rather than, like, I can't really say 100%. But I do think I think all souls can reincarnate. And I know some religions believe that, don't they? You can reincarnate into different species.
Yeah, I think again, it's people's personal beliefs again. That's okay, Dave. I still love you. You know you're here for a short time. I have a guest in the chat room, and he watches this for a certain amount of time. He's in Australia, and so it's morning.
Time difference.
So he brings his all of our time differences. Who takes his wife to work, and sometimes he's here, and sometimes he has to leave and come back, and we'll see. Some people believe that the soul reincarnates into their next pet, from Tarot Tracy in the chat room. And there are some people who believe, I had a guest on last week, she's an animal communicator, see if I can get my mouth to work properly. And she says that the animals don't reincarnate. But that's her understanding. But like I said, again, everybody has their own beliefs. And she says once you might find another animal that is close to, but it's just a similarity in like a soul family type of thing, but it's not the reincarnated of your previous pet. But again, everybody has their own opinions on it, and like that. One of the things, I'm going to get back to my kind of sort of questions. You connect with one of your guides is Albert Einstein.
Yeah.
Tell me how you first connected with him, because that would make sense.
Okay, so this is very interesting. So Albert Einstein, everybody knows, was the most famous physicist. He created the law of relativity, and he was the one that says energy is not made or destroyed, only transformed. So it's quite interesting because when I did a diploma in animal healing communication, which was a year. So when I had my interview for this, my teacher said to me, Albert Einstein is trying to communicate with you. And I was like, sort of like, what are you talking about? Like, why would he want to, I've never done anything like this before. And then I just thought, oh yeah, well, I don't know what she's talking about. And then about a month later, I stayed in a Airbnb in Liverpool, and there was this picture, you can see it in the book, of Albert Einstein, and this was hanging up on her wall, and I was looking at it, and I was like, it just, I was always, yeah, exactly. So I was always thinking about this, and I saw this image, and I thought, I just have to buy this image. I just have to buy it. So when I went home, I sent her a message and I said, I need that image. So now this image is exactly on top of my writing desk where I wrote all the words, all the book. And then in January, when I started to write the book, I had a channeled message from him. So that's also in the book. And he came to me and he was like, I'm going to help you. He's got very electric energy, and he was like really pushing me. He said, I was the spiritual scientist in my time. You're the modern day spiritual scientist. So, and I just feel his energy, he's just like with the book, if like some days I was a bit slacking, because in the message he's like, you need to write every single day. Like you can't have any breaks. You need to keep writing the book. And he said this is not the only book. There's going to be many more books. So the interesting fact with him is that he wrote 300 scientific papers and 150 non-scientific papers. The 150 non-scientific papers were all about spirituality, philosophy. They would call it philosophy, but it's spirituality for us. And he was just like really helping me. But he would come at night time though, like 3 o'clock in the morning, and wake me up. And then I have to wake up and type. So with the book, it's interesting actually, because the thing is, obviously I have used textbooks to make sure like I'm getting information correct. But the whole book's been channeled. The whole book is coming from my brain, written down from, I guess, from past lives and what I was before, and Albert Einstein himself. So that is my main guide. And
I think that's interesting.
Yeah, he was the one that was saying to me that animal healing is needed to help you. They're going to heal you. And it's really important that you do the animal healing. So last year was a massive year for me. So I was doing my diploma, I was working full time as a scientist. I wrote my book. My father died and I was grieving for my dad. And this all happened in 2019. It was just like traumatic year. So it was
and as bizarre as this epidemic is, I think that, again, like you, 2019 was a year from and same for me. 2019 was a year that I don't have to go through again. But this epidemic is making us stop, sit down, breathe, and sort of like take a personal inventory on figuring out what's important to us. I mean, it's not a nice way to do it, but
we've been pushed into it to do it because maybe we weren't stopping quickly enough. So
yeah, exactly. Like I know there's the medical reasons and all that, but I'm the one that will find the silver lining. Nice, good night, Scott. The silver lining and all the ick, and I think this is our wake up call to do our own personal inventory, to see what we're doing, and I'm not looking forward to any more personal inventory, but I'm getting it done. Okay. Blah Blue says she's sorry, especially about your dad with everything from last year. Okay, one of the things I like about, there's a lot of things, but another one of the things I like about the book is at the end of chapters, you write affirmations and you kind of give us homework.
Yeah, that's cool.
I like homework, but I'm okay with this one. What is it that you want people to get from this book? We've got about 15 minutes left, so let me try and get us back to the book. What is it about this book what is the message you're trying to get through to people with this book?
The message is really is to help people learn how to balance their energy and to be, to have the skills, because you know, you need to have this, you can have the skill, you can do it. You don't need to keep going to practitioner for this or for that. The book is to equip you to be able to do it yourself. So this book has got about maybe 10, 15 different books in it, because it's got everything you need. It's like going to be like your spiritual Bible, basically. And I've had a lot of, I don't know, I've had messages from people, and they're saying that this book is going to go in the academic. It's going to be academic, and it's going to go to students that need it, basically.
Yeah.
And the last chapter is creating your own meditation kit. So basically, all that information's been channeled, and it tells you how to you know, if you're feeling down or depressed, or you know, you want to connect to the moon or the sun, or it's all about doing it yourself, and it's all about balancing it yourself. So that's why it's a very simple. It's written in, like, I could have done it in a lot more detail, but you know, I wanted everybody to be able to read it and understand it, and basically use it. So you know, the main thing is read the book first, and then you can just keep going back. So say you're like, okay, I need more information about the chakra system. Then you go.
And that's the thing, is you have so many different, you give us information about the chakra systems, you give us information about the auras and the colors and how they connect to us, and it's like this. And I agree, this book, like I said, I need to actually have it in my hands, because otherwise my computer screen just doesn't work to do this. It's not fast enough for me. But this is something that I will be, once I get the book in hand, that I will be going back to. This is not like, there's some books that you read and it's like a one-time read. But this book has enough information and enough knowledge that you're going to be like, wait a minute, I know I read something. You're going to be flipping back pages, trust me. So go to www.mariaafentakis.com. That's MariaAfentakis. Go there, get the book. You can go on Amazon.com and get it. Ladies, there is no readings tonight. This is just sort of like a get to know Maria. Maybe one time we'll have you back and we'll do readings. But for right now, there's no readings on tonight's show. I can't. Sharon Phillips in the chat room says, I can't get over that Maria looks like my niece, Lavonia. There you go. So you have a double in the US.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
Now, you said that, okay, we know that this is your first book. Do you have another book ruminating in your mind?
Yeah, so book 2 is going to be Animal Healing and Communication by the Spiritual Scientist. So that's the next one.
The name of the book is The Spiritual Scientist. Hang on a second. Let me show you the picture. Selva, this is a good book. Like I said, I'm reading it and I'm like, ooh, I want more. Come on. There you go. See, there it is. The Spiritual Scientist, bridging the gap between science and spirituality. An easy read, and if you have any questions about it, the book answers so many questions. Like I said in the beginning, this book answered questions that I didn't realize I had, and it makes things understandable. Like, because I have a good friend, Dorothy, and she's teaching me. She teaches me without teaching me. She just shares her knowledge. She says what she has to say, and I learn things from her. And you're the same way. You're teaching me without teaching me. You're not like in front of the classroom and asking me for an apple, because I'd be like, although I was never any good at school, but But this book allows you to learn on your own, at your own speed, and you will get things from it. Trust me. If I can get things from it, anybody will.
It's the teacher in me, because you might not know, but I also I haven't done it now, but I've always been a private tutor for like many years since graduation, teaching science to the children. So to pass their sort of high school exams and then to go into university. So I've got I love teaching, and even in my job, but they were always used to give me new students and PhD students, and I would take them under my wing and teach them the ropes, So it's sort of coming out in the book. I want to teach everybody. how to,
Yeah.
how to balance.
When this pandemic issue is over with, will you be going back to science?
I don't know. See, I don't know. I'm not sure what's going to happen with the book, because I've had a lot of readings and they're saying that now's the time to rest. But once this is over, I'm going to be really busy traveling around the world and promoting the book. So it depends on, like, I think I might do temporary work as a scientist because it is in my heart. But
Yeah.
I think eventually I want to go over. I'm developing an online course for the spiritual scientist. I've also got, I'm starting up a school for children, Maria School of Magic, Alchemy and Science. So it's modern day Hogwarts.
Yeah.
So I've got, and the animal healing work. And so I've got quite a lot on. But the thing is, the science job is going to pay the bills, right? So I might need to go back into that until I establish myself. Like many of us in the spiritual world have to have some sort of job.
As people would say, a real job, so that it can pay.
Job,
we have to have a real job to pay for our passions and our heart's desires. So yes, I do understand
hobby, our passion, So so it's like, I don't know, like I feel like at the moment I need to really get myself ready to be a public speaker, because I do feel like I will be speaking a lot about this book in an academic way, in a spiritual way, in every way, because nobody's ever seen anything like it. So
I have to agree. I mean, I'm not like an avid reader of all kinds of spiritual, but for the amount of time that I've been doing this, I think yours is the first book that covers a lot without making it so heavy that I want to bang my head against the brick wall.
Okay, don't do that.
It hurt.
No.
So let's get back to my passion. Okay, we've got about 8 minutes left. So when are we going to start working on the cards? I can't help it. I'm addicted to decks, and I work with Oracle and Tarot, but mind you, everything is just read my way, which is kind of sort of like an Oracle card. So I don't. The deck that you're going to create that works with the book, is it going to be an Oracle or is it going to be like a Tarot?
Yeah, so I've downloaded some information. So it's going to be 44 cards, and it's going to be an Oracle deck, and it will be so one side will be my logo, which is the 13 chakra system. You got my logo as well, haven't you?
Yeah, I didn't think to save it, but yeah.
So it's going to have one side the logo, and then on the other side it will have like what is coming up for you. So for example, it will have a picture of the sun, and this would be like to connect to the sun and activate your solar plexus chakra. For example, it will be something like that, and Albert Einstein will come up with his little formula. And so it's basically a work in progress.
No, but that's fine, so long as it's working. I want it. And Tarot Tracy in the chat room says yes, she wants a copy of the deck too.
It's just
you're gonna have to put names on the list already.
Yeah, and then I need to find someone who can actually do the imagery and that sort of stuff and publish it. I mean, I don't really know.
You know how that works. If that's not something that you do yourself, the person who's meant to do it will come into your life when it's time.
At the right time. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Because for me, I had in my heart to create a deck, and I know what the backdrop is, what the back of the cards is. It's my Angel Meadows, what most people know me as, and the front was going to be like inspirational, a mix between inspirational and oracle. So it's a lot going on up in here, but I'm in no way, shape, or form am I like artistic in any talent. I was honored to have somebody create. I just said to them 2 words, Angel Meadows, and they created what you see on my Facebook and my
beautiful. Yeah,
my YouTube, the field with the palace and the angel and a couple of other little.
Well, I definitely think I'll get the lady that drew the portrait of Albert Einstein to do quite a bit of the imagery. So
I think that'll be your connection. I think when I saw that picture of the Albert Einstein that you had to purchase, I was like, I'm in love with it because there's the butterfly.
Oh wow, yeah, transformation. Yeah. You see lots of
Yeah.
butterflies, and you got a butterfly on your little screen. I love them. They're like
I work with my healing works with butterflies. So when I'm sending healing, it goes on butterfly wings to whoever is necessary. And for some reason, it's always worked. It was an automatic connection, butterflies and I, when I work with my Reiki. So it's just me,
amazing.
the butterfly queen.
So you can develop your own like healing modality.
I do. I once made the mistake is not the right word. I wanted to know, because I was trained with Reiki, and I wanted to know what somebody who knew what Reiki was would, because you can give Reiki healing to anybody, and they can just they know what they feel, they know that it's helping them. But I wanted to know a little bit more detail of what the person felt. So I have a good friend who lives in the States, and she is a Reiki master teacher, and she works with the shamanic healing, and she has a few other dots and letters to her name. And I asked her one time, can I send you healing on this night? And I said, I want your honest opinion as to what you feel, what you get. I want the whole, it's kind of like me having to get my, like I know what I do and I know I'm good at it, but I wanted sort of like confirmation, for lack of a better word. Hey, Raymond, I needed a confirmation that it was actually, not in somebody else's head. It wasn't just what was in my head. And the next day, she sent me a report, for lack of a better word, of it wasn't just, she says, it wasn't just Reiki that you were sending. There was animal healing in there. There was guides, and there was shamanic healing. And it's like, I was like, very nice. So I think everybody does their own healing. No matter what we learn, it's a foundation for each of us to build on. I think it's like if you put 5 people in a room and you give them all the exact same ingredients to make a cake. I believe that every cake will taste differently because it depends on how much you put, how much sugar, how much vanilla, how much flour. Every cake will taste different. No 2 cakes will taste the same. We're not machines. We add our own little magic sprinkle, fairy dust, or whatever you want to call it. So I think that, I think everybody has a foundation that they work from, and then they build their own healing, their own castle.
Definitely.
But that's just my opinion. Well, I need to thank you because we're just about at the end of time. Thank you very much for, yes, Tracy in the chat room. We are all unique, and some of us are more unique than others, especially when it comes to the boys. Sorry, Raymond. I need to thank you very much for agreeing to come on. And like I said, when the deck is ready, I definitely want. When the next book is ready, I definitely want. I want you to come back. We'll do the deck. We'll do an open reveal on Facebook. We'll do it. The sun is just shining in like crazy now.
Oh, lovely.
Here we go. It's time. It's almost 6 o'clock. It's the time the sun is going, okay, let me shine. But so thank you very, very much. Anybody who wants to get a hold of Maria, just do a Facebook search, Maria Afentakis. Go to her website, www.mariaafentakis.com. That's AMARIAAFENTAKIS. Her book is there. Her book is also on Amazon. And the sun is now bleaching me out. So I think we will call it a night. Thank you, everybody, for stopping in. And we'll see y'all next week. Thanks, Maria.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Don't go anywhere just yet. Okay. As I said, my computer is in slow motion.